Hi, beautiful souls. I'm Kat. I'm an artist, entrepreneur, founder of Create Magazine, and coach for art queens. Today, I thought we would do something really fun. The other day, I posted a sticker in my Instagram and I asked you what were some of your biggest challenges in your art career or creative business, and you gave me a lot of different answers. So, I also created a PDF to help you with some of the biggest questions and challenges that I hear from you all the time, which is how do I start selling my art on Instagram or online in general, even if I have a small audience? I first of all just want to encourage you and remind you that we all had to start somewhere. I certainly did not start with a massive following. When I first started, I had a few hundred people. Most of them were my classmates from high school and college, or people that I knew, or my friends' parents. And the thing is, the biggest hurdle you're going to experience is setting your ego aside and putting yourself out there and not worrying about if people are going to judge you. Because the people who truly care about you and your happiness and your success are going to be excited to support you and to see you putting your art and work out there for the world to see. All right, so let's go ahead and check out some of these questions that I hear from you on how to overcome these challenges that we all experience in our art career. The first question is from Claudia, and her challenge is getting out and selling it. I'm assuming she's referring to selling her artwork, and just the way that we do anything for the first time is we have to start. We have to start even though we may be afraid, even though we don't feel ready, even if we don't feel like our work is good enough. Taking the first step is going to be key. So the first step is going to look different for everyone. If you've been doing this for a while and you're having trouble finding new clients, your first step might be slightly different than someone who's never sold a piece of work before. Nonetheless, usually we intuitively know what we need to do, and the only thing stopping us from taking action is the fear of failure, the fear of being judged, or something else emotionally blocking us from seeing the common sense result. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, business and selling art is really simple. You create the art, you put it out there, and someone sees it and buys it. We like to overcomplicate things, and part of this is due to maybe some old trauma that we had or some negative experiences that impacted the way that we see the selling process. Don't worry, I also have my own whole bag of things that I am processing and dealing with, so you're not alone. But the first step to putting yourself out there and selling your work is to start with what you have. The beautiful thing is that we all have access to the internet. If you're watching this, you either have a smartphone or a computer, and you literally have an unlimited way of putting yourself out there. I think a lot of times what stops us is that we think that we need to have a fancy gallery or a perfect website or a huge audience in order to share our work. But the thing is, the way we get there is by using what we have. So practice living your dream life by sharing your work right now, even if you only have 3 followers and most of them are your aunt and grandma. Practice creating a new Pinterest account, or just do an experiment with yourself where you show up consistently for a year on Instagram or a month or a week and see what happens. A lot of times we get disappointed because we do something once or twice and we say, oh, we didn't work, we didn't get the sale, or we didn't meet any new collectors. But I know by doing this for over 10 years, I know that it took me a long time to figure out my own voice, to figure out the way that I share my story and the way that it works for me to sell. So each of us has our own unique way of doing things, and the only way to find out is by doing it imperfectly, doing it scared, doing it a little bit awkwardly. One of my favorite coaches, Tina DeVee, says it's always awkward before it's elegant. So take courage in that. Let it be awkward. You're going to get better and better and better. So put yourself out there. What is a baby step that you can take this week to put out your art? Maybe it's applying to a juried show. Maybe it's pitching your work to a local gallery. Maybe it's simply posting what you have available in your posts, reels, and stories and seeing if anyone is interested. You might have just not taken action in a while. And I know for me this is true too. Just because I've been doing this for a long time does not make me exempt from doing the same things. I also have to remind people where to click, what gallery to contact, what website to visit to buy my art. So remember to give people clear instructions on how to find your work or ask you questions. And in the PDF that I created for you, which you can download, is something I share. It's kind of like dating. We don't just meet someone on the street and think they're cute and ask them to marry us, right? We start a conversation, then maybe we get a coffee, maybe we ask them some questions. And it's the same way with building relationships with people online. When people know more about you and your work, they're going to be more likely to buy your artwork, your products, and services. So keep going, keep showing up consistently, and remember that it is a long game. It's not going to happen overnight because you're building a reputation and you're building trust with your audience. All right, so the next question is actually related to this one. This one is from Gwen. Is growing a social media audience. Just like I mentioned a moment ago, we don't just come up to someone on the street and say, hey, look at me, marry me, move in with me, right? That would be super, super weird. But that's the way we treat the online world. And think about the people that you've been following for a long time. What makes you continue following them, reading their posts, checking out their stories, looking at their art, or reading their books, or watching their videos? It's probably because they've been consistently showing you something. They've been revealing parts of themselves, sharing their story, maybe giving you a little bit behind the scenes of their process, and in so building that trust with you. So just the same way that those people that you admire have been able to build trust with you, you are going to build trust with your audience and they're going to follow you. And we don't just want random numbers. We don't want just random followers. We want people who are really committed to our journey. And the way that we do that is also to overcome our fear of sharing something a little bit personal, maybe overcoming a struggle, or maybe sharing the inspiration behind our work, or maybe giving them a peek behind our process. Just remember, think of social media as a one big relationship instead of a number. And it's going to ease some of those rough days where maybe, the roller coaster, people unfollow and follow, that happens. But if you are in it, committed to the long game and committed to really caring about each soul, each heartbeat, each person behind that screen, it's going to change everything for you. I promise. The other important thing when it comes to growing your social media that I have found is to embrace an attitude of growth and learning. This is something I had to do from the beginning. So it doesn't matter if today I have 5 followers and no one likes my post. I have to commit to my success. So when I say I'm Kat and I'm committed to having a successful social media audience, I start to shift my identity to someone who is a success, someone who does attract followers, comments, interactions, real relationships. And that identity is not someone who complains, oh no, this so and so unfollowed me, or oh, this post didn't get any engagement. They don't really care about that. What they care about is they are going to maybe learn something new, maybe Google search or look on YouTube for some new social media strategies or making compelling reels. They're also going to know that their success is inevitable and the small day-to-day losses don't really add up. Where they're going is still going to be massively successful. So I encourage you to adapt this mindset of success, of growth, and knowing that you're fully capable of figuring it out. It's not rocket science. If I can do it, you can do it. And not to get discouraged by those daily things, really looking at the big picture, knowing that you're here to build real connections, real relationships. And something really cool about my social media following is that I met some collectors on there, and in fact, my galleries found me on there. And the way that they do that is they watch me. They didn't just see my stuff and say, we like it. They actually spent some time seeing who I am. What are some things that I care about? How do I engage with others online? Am I respectful? Do I honor everyone that comes my way? Or am I only in it for those metrics? Think about that. Think about how you want to be treated online and then treat your audience that way, and it's going to help you to grow. And of course, practically speaking, do the things. Use the hashtags. Right now, Reels are hot, so this is recording it in 2022. Reels are hot right now, so use Reels. Don't fight the system. Go with the flow, go with the ease, and engage and watch accounts that are doing it right just to see what kind of stuff they're posting. What are they sharing in their stories? And you can get ideas from that so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, there's so many other questions. A lot of it is finding collectors and more income and getting our work to actually sell. So these are all related. So building on what I just mentioned about those relationships, the most important thing I know is that sometimes artwork takes a little bit to sell, and that is okay. You can feel like something is wrong, but if you go on Artsy or Saatchi Art, you'll see that there are actually a ton of unsold pieces, and that is okay. Not everything we make is a masterpiece. Not everything we make is, going to go viral, and that is all right. I think our job as artists is to commit to excellence, to commit to sharing what we have, trusting that it is good enough, but also knowing that we have not made our best work yet. So that actually really helps me. There was a season where I didn't sell anything for a few months. And what really kept me going was this commitment to, hey, I'm going to make my best next work. And guess what? What ends up happening is I usually end up attracting more attention, new followers as I begin to share the new stuff, and it gives attention to the older work as well. So as you rise, as you level up, people might notice some of the older pieces in your inventory. So don't despair. Keep showing up, keep creating, don't get stuck. One of the things not to do is to obsessively share this older piece that just won't sell. It's okay to share it once in a while. I do this. I sometimes bring something out of my archive if it hasn't sold yet, but don't get stuck on it. Keep moving forward. You are not done creating yet. As long as you're alive, you are fully able to make new work, attract new collectors and new attention. So just keep moving forward. Let's see. Other questions. There is another question, being seen and making sales, and a question from Maria. The challenge is the galleries don't want to accept minis, but I love painting minis. Well, that is something very interesting. When we say that a gallery does not accept a certain type of work, a certain type of color, medium, that is actually generalizing because we cannot speak for all galleries, right? Is it true that every single gallery on this planet does not like minis, for example? No, it's absolutely not true. So I encourage you to question yourself when you say statements that create deletions. So when we generalize, we delete the potential that there are people that might like something. And on a personal note, I want to encourage you. Galleries, like my one gallery, Deep Space, loves minis. So that may be a limiting belief that you can journal about and also do some research. There are galleries who love small works because they are really easy to sell. And in fact, Deep Space always talks about how it's a great entry point to collectors to start making things. And look, I have a bunch of minis here. One is from my friend Erica Lee Sears, one is from Casey, and there's so many awesome ways that you can make art. You can make giant art, you can make small art. It's all beautiful, and there's a place for all of it in this world. Financials, I have not yet hit my monetary goals. This is a big one for a lot of us. Whether you're an artist or entrepreneur, hitting our financial goals can be a challenge because we're doing something new and what we're doing is very niche. So if we haven't found our perfect audience yet, those consistent clients, it can be a little bit challenging. So focusing on bringing value to your audience, whether it's through your artwork or something that you share, is going to be important. Pay attention to what people are paying attention to. For me, when I was supporting myself with art sales alone, it was smaller works around 9 by 12 inches, and that really helped pay the bills because people really responded to that size for me. These days, I love to coach and share career advice, and that has been a great way for me to support myself. In each season of our life, we might be bringing something of value that's different than we were before. So the biggest thing is to just not fight it, but really listen in. What are your collectors looking for right now? Maybe they don't have a lot of space, maybe they want something small, or maybe they're curious about you creating custom work for them. There's always a way, and I think not trying to make something up in our head, but really just seeing what's happening in our communities, in our world, is going to give you ideas. So don't despair, continue, keep your goals high, like keep them high. My clients sometimes ask me, should I lower my financial goal? The answer is no. You don't need to lower your goal. You just need to make yourself believe in the next step of your goal. So, breaking it down to smaller challenges, like maybe this week you challenge yourself to sell an additional work of art, and building on from there can help it seem a little bit less overwhelming and daunting. Because I don't know about you, but I'm sure you're an ambitious soul just like I am, and sometimes our goals can feel impossible and overwhelming. So, the way to battle that is just to create some smaller ones. It's called the ladder of believability as you're on your way to working out to the big ones. It's all possible. I want to encourage you because when I first started, I did not have any money and I barely made $3,000 a year, and that was very, very hard to live off of. But over time, I taught myself about wealth consciousness, about money mindset, about different ways to earn money online through online education, selling art online, both directly and through galleries, and so many other ways. We live in a great time to put ourselves out there, use the internet as a tool. Before this wasn't even possible. And I mentioned this in the free download as well. But it might feel like you're competing against a sea of all these artists and creatives. The truth is, we just haven't seen them before. They were always there. The internet just makes it possible for us to put ourselves out there. And that is a good thing. The fact that there are artists doing what they love and supporting themselves means that it's possible for you too. Thank you so much for all your great questions. I hope to do this again soon. And I hope you enjoy my PDF resource guide for how to sell art on Instagram and grow your audience at the same time. Because honestly, it shouldn't be one or the other. We're going to be doing both. I love you so much, and I will see you soon.